Welcome to lesson 2.2. So we are starting proportions. This is a small portion, so you're going to learn how to solve them and all of that, and then eventually we're going to go into proportional relationships, but we're going to first work on proportions. So to determine whether two ratios form a proportion or are proportional, you can use cross products, look for a common multiplier, or simplify the fractions. So you can do any one of those strategies. It does not matter to me. I'm going to show you cross products and all of the other ones if needed, because they're all pretty similar conceptually wise, like thinking about them wise. It's just which one you prefer. So, for example, this first one, 15 over 15 eighteenths, is it equal to 40 over 48? So are they proportional? So to do this, we have to use cross products. So for example, when it's talking about common multiplier, it's like looking, okay, can I multiply 18 by something to get 48, and can I multiply something by 15 to get 40 and it be the same number? That means it's proportional. You can do cross simplifying, or you can simplify the fractions. So for example, 15 eighteenths reduces to 5/6. So does 40 over 48 reduce to 5/6? And if both of them reduce to the same fraction, then yes, they're proportional. Okay, so the cross products way, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply 15 times 48 and then 40 times 18. That's what it means by cross products. Cross meaning across from diagonal from each other. Products is multiplication. So 15 times 48, and you're going to see, does it equal 18 times 40? Okay, so 15 times 48, remember, you can use a calculator, is 720. And 18 times 40 is also 720. So yes, this is a proportion. Okay, so you can check them with cross products. You can simplify both fractions. So for example, 40 out of 48, the common factor is 8, and so it's 5. It reduces to 5/6. So both of them reduce to 5/6. So that means simplifying the fraction. Finding the common multiplier for this one wouldn't be fun, because 15 times to get to 40 or 18 to get to 48 would be a decimal. So you don't necessarily want to do that one for this. So let's go to open up your foldable. So we're going to work on the is it a proportion? So remember, you can cross simplify to determine, are these a proportion? Okay, so we're going to cross simplify or cross multiply. So 12 times 24 and 16 times 20. So 12 times 24 and 16 times 20. And so 12 times 24 is 288, and 16 times 20 is 320. Those are not equal, so it is no. It is not a proportion. Okay, they are not proportional. Okay, or if you wanted to reduce those, 12/20 reduces to 3/5, and then 16/14 reduces to 2/3. So that's the way you can reduce the fraction. So no, those don't form a proportion. Okay, so let's check another one. So let's do the next one. So we're going to do cross products. So 45 and 12 and 30. So 8 times 45, and we're going to see, does it equal 12 times 30? Okay, so 12 times 30 is 360, And 8 times 45 is 360. So yes, those are equal. So yes, it does form a proportion. Okay, now 2/7 and 6/10. So this is another thing you could do. So 2/7 is completely reduced, right? So that one you can't reduce, but 6/10 can reduce to, the common factor is 2, so that's 3/5. And 2/7 does not equal 3/5. So that would be a no. So that's the one where it talks about simplifying the fraction. That's another way you can do it. So then I can do cross products on this one. If it's an easy one, you can do the simplification and all of that. I think the ones that kind of get bigger in numbers or get a little tricky, it's not always a bad idea to do the cross products, because it's kind of easy to just multiply and see, do they match? And if they do, then yes, it's proportional. If they don't, then no, it is not proportional. So 33 times 42 is 1,386. So 1,386. And then 22 times 63 is also 1,386. So yes, this is a proportion, okay? Then I'm going to show you the common multiplier one on this last one. So 5 times 3 is 42, right? 5 times 3, or not 42, 5 times 3 is 15. So what you can check is 14 times 3, 42. And so 14 times 3 is 42. So then, yes, these are proportional. So that would be the common multiplier. So you can do any one of these strategies. You can do cross products, you can simplify the fractions, or you can do a common multiplier. So if they don't have a common multiplier, then no, they would not be proportional. Okay, so any one of those strategies is fine with me because they're all three mathematically correct. So whichever one makes sense for your brain is fine with me, okay? All right, so now let's go back to the front of the notes. So now we're going to look at solving a proportion. So you can do this with, you can use any one of those strategies. It sometimes is easier to just be consistent with what you use. I prefer to use cross products when solving a proportion because it just is kind of like a consistent way to do it, and is a little easier. So 18 times x and 15 times 48. So we're essentially figuring out, okay, if it's 15 over 18, what number over 48 is going to be the exact same? Okay, so when I do that, I have 18 times x equals 15 times 48. Let me rewrite that, sorry. 18x equals 15 times 48. So 18x equals 720. So then I'm going to divide by 18 on both sides so I can figure out what x is. And so x equals 40. Okay, so that's the way you can solve the proportions, is do cross products and then you can divide by 18 and you get x is 40. So now let's flip open our foldable. So x divided by 6 is equal to 30 divided by 4. Now, if you wanted to look, okay, what number can I multiply by 6 to get 4, and that was a whole number, then it makes it a lot easier. But this one is a decimal, so you don't necessarily want to use a common multiplier. The only other one you could do is you could reduce 30 over 4, but even that wouldn't be super fun to do. So we're going to do cross products. So 6 times 30 is equal to x times 4. So 4x equals 6 times 30 is 180. Okay, and again, you can do this in your calculator. It's literally fine. Okay, then divide by 4. And so x is equal to 45. Okay. This one is kind of the same. It's not an easy one to do the multiplier, so we're going to do cross products. So we're figuring out 12 divided by what number is the same thing as 8 divided by 24, essentially. So that's 8x equals 12 times 24 is 288. Okay, and then we're going to divide by 8 on both sides. So x is 288 divided by 8, which is 36. So 12 divided by 36 is the same thing as 8 divided by 34. Okay. So now what you can also do, I'm going to do a common multiplier one. So if you knew that 3 times 16 is 48, you can reverse engineer that to get the other one. So I'm going to divide by 16. 64 divided by 16 is what x is going to be. So 64 divided by 16 is 4, so x is equal to 4. So that's the way you can use the common multiplier. You have to figure out, okay, how do I go from the first number to the second number, and then you just do the opposite to get the next number, or do the same depending on which side the x is on. Okay, so I did 3 times 16 to get 48, so I need to do 64 divided by 16 to get x. Again, it's kind of whatever strategy you prefer. Is kind of up to you. I'll show you another one of that in just a second. So then this one we're going to do cross products. So 18x equals 63 times 14, which is 882. Oops, I forgot to do an orange. 882. So I'm going to divide by 18. So x is equal to 49. Okay. So now this one, what I would do is I noticed that 15 and 75. So what number, 15 times what number is 75? So that's going to be times 5. So now what I can do is go, okay, 45 times, what number times 5 is going to be 45, so x has to be 9. Okay, so that's another way you can solve it, is by doing a little reverse engineering. That would be common multiplier, or you could reduce the 45 over 75 by 5, and you would get 9 out of 15, which means x has to be 15. So that's one of the strategies. Okay, so let's go back to the front to do the word problems. So to make a berry smoothie, Olivia uses 3 strawberries for every 5 blueberries. So think about it this way. She does 3 strawberries. I'm going to put straw for every 5 blueberries. Okay. And she wants to know, okay, if I have 30 blueberries, how many strawberries am I going to need? So you can do this one of two. You can do it 3 ways. You can find a common multiplier. You can do cross products. It kind of is entirely up to you. This is how I would do this one because it just is quick and easy. 5 times 6 is 30, so 3 times 6 is 18. So that would be 18 strawberries would be your answer. Okay, so again, you can do it cross products. Then you would have ended up with 5x equals 90, and then you divide by 5 and you get 18 strawberries as well. So as long as you do it correctly, you're going to get the same answer whichever strategy you use. It's kind of up to you which strategy you like to do. So now let's go to the word problems. So Nathan and his team can wash 16 cars every 2 hours. how many cars can they wash in 5? So 16 cars for every 2 hours is equal to something missing, however many cars for 5 hours. So this one would be a better one to do cross products because 2 doesn't multiply by a whole number to get to 5. So then I would have, so cross product. Okay, so that would be 2x equals 16 times 5, which is 80. So I divide by 2, and so x is equal to 40. So if they can wash 16 cars every 2 hours, in 5 hours, they're going to wash 40. Okay? Cars. Okay? So now, for every 4 batches of donuts, 9 donuts must be thrown out. Tragic. Don't ever throw out donuts. That's a cardinal rule in my class. So for every 4 batches of donuts, 9 are thrown out. So how many donuts would be thrown out after 72 batches? So I'm going to do cross products. So I'm going to crisscross. So 4x, 9 times 72. So 4x equals 9 times 72, which is 648. Divide by 4. And so for 72 batches, 162 donuts would have to be thrown out. Ugh, tragic. My poor donuts, my precious, precious donuts. Okay, so if you can read 110 pages in 5 hours, how many pages can you read in 6 hours? So I have 110 pages for 5 hours is how many pages for 6 hours? So again, cross products is kind of the quick way. It's up to you how you want to do it. So 5x equals 110 times 6, which is 660. Then I'm going to divide by 5. And x is equal to 132. So for 6 hours, you're going to read 132 pages. Okay, so that's it for lesson 2.2. Bye.